The TARDIS materialize in the car park behind Dumfries train station. The Doctor and Mathew, her companion, smile at the mild autumnal air as the Doctor makes sure she locked the TARDIS doors. Right time to loco locomotion. The train chugged into Waverley Station. A plume of steam hissed. The Liminal Doctor stepped onto the platform. Her eyes, wide with wonder, drank in the scene. Edinburgh, Scotland. Finally, a city steeped in history. A city whispering old tales. She could feel it in the very air. A tingle of ancient magic danced on her skin. This was not just any city, it was a gateway, a place where the veil between worlds felt wonderfully thin. She breathed deeply, the cool Scottish air filling her lungs with a sense of exhilarating possibility. The sounds of the city were a symphony. Bagpipes wailed a mournful yet proud tune in the distance. The chatter of unfamiliar accents, a delightful burr, filled the air. Cobblestones rumbled under the wheels of passing cars and the feet of hurried locals. The scent of malt from a nearby brewery mingled with the damp, earthy smell of old stone. The Doctor grinned. It was also wonderfully, chaotically, brilliantly Scottish. She felt an immediate connection, a sense of coming home to a place she'd never been before. This city was alive, pulsating with stories waiting to be discovered.
Well, Doc, you certainly picked a place with character.
Their first few days were a whirlwind of exploration. They wandered down the Royal Mile. They marveled at the imposing bulk of Edinburgh Castle. They got delightfully lost in the narrow, winding alleyways, the wynds and closes that snaked off the main thoroughfares. It was in one such wind, tucked away behind a bustling street, that they found it. A tiny, unassuming bookshop. Its windows were crammed with dusty, leather-bound volumes. The sign above the door, creaking in the breeze, read, "Forgotten Lore and Sundries." The Doctor's eyes lit up. This was her kind of place. Inside, the air smelled of old paper, leather, and a hint of something else. Something like dried herbs and forgotten spells. An elderly proprietor with spectacles perched on his nose nodded at them from behind a mountain of books. The Doctor browsed, her fingers trailing over ancient spines.
The parchment pages were brittle with age. The script was archaic, difficult to decipher. But one phrase leaped out at her. The lost wish of Dunedin.
Ah, that old thing. A local legend, mostly. A tale of a wish so potent, so powerful, it could change the very fabric of reality. The Doctor was utterly captivated.
Mathew, ever the pragmatist but always up for an adventure with the Doctor, listened intently. His brow furrowed as the old bookseller spun the tale of the lost wish.
So a magical wish, eh? Sounds like something straight out of one of your more imaginative theories, Doc.
He grinned, a twinkle in his eye. He wasn't a disbeliever, not after all he'd seen with the Liminal Doctor. But he liked to keep her grounded, even when they were chasing legends. He knew this was exactly the kind of thing that would ignite her passion. Their attempts to pronounce some of the Scottish names and places mentioned in the booklet provided considerable amusement.
Field?
Mathew would struggle, his tongue tying itself in knots. The Doctor, usually so articulate, found herself equally challenged by the guttural sounds and rolling R's.
It's Kirkfield, I think.
All right, Doc, if there's a legendary lost wish hidden in this city, who better to find it than us? Lead the way. I'll bring the snacks and try not to mispronounce too many ancient landmarks.
Their quest had officially begun. The little green booklet became their primary guide. It was less a map and more a collection of cryptic verses and allegorical tales. One passage spoke of where a king's road meets the people's heart, and secrets sleep beneath the market's art. The Doctor immediately thought of the Royal Mile. It was the historic spine of the old town, connecting the castle to the palace of Holyrood House. It was quite literally a king's road, and it pulsed with the life of the city, its markets, and its people. This had to be their starting point. They walked the Royal Mile slowly, meticulously. Not as tourists this time, but as detectives. They examined the intricate carvings on ancient buildings. They peered down the dark, narrow closes, imagining centuries of footsteps that had passed before them. The Doctor ran her hands over weathered stone, feeling for loose bricks or hidden symbols. Mathew, meanwhile, kept an eye out for anything unusual, any detail that seemed out of place. He also made sure they stopped for a Scotch pie or two, arguing that brain food was essential for solving ancient riddles.
Mathew, look at this.
She whispered, her voice filled with discovery. The Royal Mile had yielded its first secret. The strange mark from the tapestry in St. Giles's Cathedral was their new focus. It was a peculiar jagged symbol, almost like a stylized lightning bolt or a fractured branch.
This isn't any known heraldry, nor any alchemical symbol I recognize. It must be unique to this myth, a key of some sort.
The doctor meticulously copied it into her notebook, tapping her pen against her chin. Mathew peered over her shoulder, squinting at the drawing.
Looks like a doodle to me, Doc, but if you say it's important, I believe you.
His faith in her intuition was absolute. The booklet offered another cryptic line. Where the rock watches and the old guard sleeps, the fractured path to deeper secrets creeps.
The Rock Watches almost certainly refers to Castle Rock, the volcanic plug upon which Edinburgh Castle stands, a silent sentinel overlooking the city.
They decided their next exploration had to be the castle itself, or at least its immediate surroundings. Exploring the castle grounds, they kept an eye out for their jagged symbol. They scanned ancient walls, gatehouses, and even the cannons, much to the amusement of other tourists.
Doc, over here!
Mathew's voice was hushed with excitement. With a shared glance of determination, the Liminal Doctor and Mathew prepared to follow where the ancient clue led, deeper into the mystery of the lost wish. The path beneath the castle wall proved to be a dead end, or so it seemed. It led to a small, sealed-off cave entrance, clearly inaccessible without serious excavation tools. The doctor was momentarily disheartened, but not for long.
The symbol pointed down, but perhaps not literally to this exact spot. Maybe it's a directional clue, a line of sight.
She pulled out her compass and the map of Edinburgh, her brow furrowed in concentration. The jagged mark, when aligned with their current position, seemed to aim southeast across the city. Mathew, ever practical, suggested a vantage point.
If it's a line of sight, we need to get higher up, Doc, somewhere we can see where that fractured path might truly lead. What about up there? You can see for miles from the top of Arthur's Seat.
The doctor's eyes lit up. Of course, the highest natural point in the city. The climb up Arthur's Seat was invigorating. The wind whipped around them, carrying the scent of gorse and damp earth. Reaching the summit, they were rewarded with a breathtaking panoramic view of Edinburgh. The city spread out below them like a living map. The air atop Arthur's Seat felt charged, ancient. The ruins near St. Anthony's Chapel were quiet and desolate, a stark contrast to the bustling city below. They found remnants of old walls, weathered stones half buried in the earth. The doctor searched for another instance of the jagged symbol, but it was nowhere to be found.
Perhaps the clue here isn't a carving, but something else. The booklet spoke of wisdom hidden from the common gaze, found by those who walk forgotten ways.
This suggested knowledge, not just a physical marker. What if the next clue was textual? Mathew, while poking around a crumbling stone archway, noticed a small metallic glint in a crevice. He carefully reached in and pulled out a tarnished, cylindrical metal tube. It was sealed at both ends.
Well, hello there. This doesn't look like it belongs to a sheep.
The doctor rushed over, her eyes wide. The tube was old, possibly made of bronze or copper, and intricately engraved with patterns that echoed the style of the jagged symbol. It felt cool to the touch, and surprisingly heavy for its size. With delicate care, back in their lodgings, the doctor managed to unseal one end of the tube. Inside, nestled within, was a tightly rolled piece of parchment. The lost wish felt tantalizingly close. The scroll's diagram pointed to an old, disused well on Calton Hill. This area was known for its springs, believed to have healing properties. The phrase "where Earth breathes out its secrets" now made sense. Calton Hill, with its monuments and views, hid this forgotten well. It was hidden, almost forgotten. Finding the well took effort. It was overgrown with ivy and brambles. A heavy moss-covered stone slab lay over its opening. The air felt cooler with a faint, earthy smell.
The guardian of the waters deep. We need to offer a token of respect.
Think an old penny will do, Doc?
The intent is what matters, Mathew.
She polished a coin and they slid the stone slab to reveal a dark opening. The well was a conduit, a place of connection to something far older. The celestial map within the well was the final piece. It didn't point to a physical object, a tangible wish to be granted. The doctor, tracing the patterns in her notebook, realized its true meaning. The lost wish wasn't a singular magical boon waiting to be claimed. It was something far more profound.
Mathew, the wish, it wasn't lost, it was preserved, it's a legacy.
The intricate patterns in the well, combined with the lore from the booklet and the scroll, painted a picture. The wish was a deep understanding of the land, the stars, and the flow of natural energies. It was ancient knowledge, passed down, hidden in plain sight, for those with the wisdom to see it. The power wasn't in an object but in connection, to the past, to the earth, to the cosmos. The myth wasn't about a magical shortcut to power, it was about safeguarding a profound wisdom, a way of seeing the world that had been almost forgotten. The jagged symbol was a key to unlocking this perspective, a reminder of the fractured, often overlooked connections between all things. The Liminal Doctor felt a deep sense of peace, of understanding. The lost wish of Dunedin was, in its own way, found.